What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is the continuation of Mixed Six Pack theme month here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from Cigar City Brewing, and they're out of Tampa, Florida, and this is their Guayabera. So they're calling this a Citra Pale Ale, which is an American pale ale that is brewed exclusively with Citra hops, comes in at 5.5% alcohol by volume, 50 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is just under 2 months old. So I saw a good friend of mine and fellow beer tuber, Matt, over at Massive Beer Reviews, review this one a couple weeks ago, and he was really digging it. He thought it was one of his favorite, I guess, shelfy beers that he had recently. And I've been wanting to try this one for a while. I just never grabbed it. So when I saw this at the Wegmans that I went to do the Mix of Six for this week, I was like, yeah, I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to review it. Now, not ideal freshness, just under 2 months old, but like I always say when it comes to mixed sixes, hey, you gotta roll with the punches. If it's gonna be a couple months old, it's gonna be a couple months old. It should be fine. I think so anyway. And yeah, so not much more to say about this one. American Pale Ale. They're using exclusively Citra hops, and yeah, hopefully it's delicious. Let's give it a crack. People beeping outside, they need to settle down. So that pours out this really nice, like bright, vibrant orange color. Probably be a little bit more dull on camera, but in person, really vibrant orange. It's murky, turbid. It kind of looks like an almost a New England style pale ale. It has that kind of murkiness to it and turbidity. About 2 fingers of a fluffy white head, some bigger bubbles mixing in with smaller bubbles. Yeah, it looks nice. This honestly looks like a New England style pale ale. Maybe not quite as like milky looking or anything, but it's close. Let's get a nose. Yeah, a lot of zesty citrus. Orange, tangerine, ruby red grapefruit, like the citrus peel. Slight hints of like a passion fruit. Ooh, like a lemon lime kick. This one is very, I want to say, I always forget. I always forget in general because I'm old, but when I watch beer tubers, I usually remember what people say about the beer as far as how much they liked it or if they didn't. I don't usually remember like exact tasting notes or whatever. I do remember though, I'm pretty sure Matt said this was pretty citrus forward, and based on the nose, it is. There's a lot, like all the citrus. There's orange, there's tangerine, there's lemon lime, there's grapefruit. This is very zesty, a little bit sweet from the base malt component that's like biscuity and crackery, but for the most part, it's just that zesty, pithy citrus character. And then there's a little bit, like I said, of that like passion fruit pineapple thing. No real, there's no like herbaceousness or dankness or, there's no earthiness here. There's nothing like that. No floral component to it. It just smells like a zesty pale ale, and it smells pretty good and quite refreshing for, I mentioned this in every single review now, but it's the middle of summer and it's super hot out and it's super refreshing. It is though. It just smells like I want to just take down this can in about 2 seconds. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Really solid, really solid. Yeah, the nose kind of carries over to tea. There's a malt base here that's crackery and biscuity and sweeter, but then over top of it, tons, and I mean absolutely tons of citrus components. This one, I mean, it's like a lemon lime juice with zesty orange peel, zesty tangerine peel, a little bit of like a ruby red grapefruit flesh. So it has a little bit of bitterness, but sweetness mixed in. That zestiness is really pronounced halfway through the palate. On the finish, it finishes with a little bit of a semi-dry, slightly like low to moderate bitterness. But it finishes relatively clean. There's a little bit of that dryness, a little bit of that bitterness, but for the most part, it's kind of gone. 5.5%, this is lower side of medium body, so it's cool with me. Mouthfeel, it's crispy, it's effervescent, but it does have a soft smoothness to it that kind of is reminiscent of like, it's like a baby New England style pale ale. Like it has those characteristics, but really mild as far as the mouthfeel is concerned. I can't believe I just described the mouthfeel as being a baby New England style pale ale, but it happened. As you can see, I'm just crushing this. Not a lot of complexity here. Not this, flavor explosion of awesomeness, but This beer I could drink a ton of. This is not going to wreck my palate. I'm getting enough characteristics from the citrus portion of the show, which is just, all the citrus. I'm getting lemon, I'm getting lime, orange, tangerine, grapefruit. All that's here, and it varies from like a sweeter, fleshy, like, ruby red grapefruit to the pithy orange peel of an orange and tangerine to like the juiciness of like a lemon lime. So it's actually the citrus character in here is quite complex. And that's riding on a really solid malt base that makes for an extremely well-balanced beer between the malt and the hops, and the drinkability is through the chart. I think flavor-wise for me, I would probably give this like maybe at best a 3.75 out of 5. I think that's the highest I could go. But because of the enjoyment factor of the drinkability, the complexity to the citrus notes themselves, and just the fact that I really like the mouthfeel, and the body is appropriate and everything, and just the fact that it's good beer. It's good beer. As Matt always says, good beer, good beer. This is a good beer. So Guayabera from Cigar City, I'm going to give that a straight on 4 out of 5. I think it deserves it. Some of you may disagree and say, hey, maybe it's not that good. Some of you might think it's way better than that, and that's the beauty of beer. We all have different opinions and palates, and we're going to have different thoughts on beers. But the fact of the matter is, in my neck of the woods, I think Matt said this was around $8 or $9 in his neck of the woods. Here in Western New York, I can get this for $9.99 a six-pack, and that's a great deal for a 5.5% Citra Pale Ale, I think. You could buy a six-pack for $10, feel pretty good about it, and you, like I said, your palate wouldn't get, well, my palate wouldn't get tired of it, and I could drink a ton of it. This is like a great barbecue poolside beach beer, right? This you could just crush them. You're not going to get really hammered at all. You're just going to get your buzz on, and you should have a good time doing it. So price point is fantastic. The availability, Cigar City's in a lot of different states now. They've started popping up over the last year and a half, 2 years, and we get most of their offerings here in the Western New York area. We even get stuff like, Good Gourd from them, Marshall Zukov, a bunch of other beers. So yeah, the availability of Cigar City is pretty damn good. So I can't really complain about the price point or the availability or this beer in general. 4 out of 5, I think, is a fair score. For a 5.5% Pale Ale, American Pale Ale with Citra, yeah, they did a damn good job at a good price point, and yeah, it's fucking tasty. I don't know. 5.5%, really can't tell. It drinks like a 4% beer ABV-wise. Yeah, so if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. I think probably quite a few of you probably have had this one, and this is my first time enjoying it, and it won't be my last. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol, and another mixed six-pack theme beer. I always try to, I have to process what I'm saying when it comes to that, but we're getting closer to the end. We only got a handful number of days, but this has been such a fun month. So if you've been enjoying it, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to probably do something each month similar to this, maybe one mixed six-pack per month. But yeah, I don't want it to go away because I'm having too much fun doing it. It seems like you guys are too. So appreciate everybody stopping by. Until tomorrow, cheers.